Now, today's top stories and Power of 5 weather from News 5. Sponsored by Akron Children's Hospital.
Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio, on this brown Sunday. Preseason though it is, still feels good to say it. The season, of course, doesn't get underway until that much anticipated September 12th showdown with the Kansas City Chiefs, which also comes 2 days before another much anticipated showdown, the Cleveland mayoral primary. This week, the 7 hopefuls got together for their second debate. News 5's Jesse Schultz breaks it down for us this morning.
When asked what the biggest problem facing Clevelanders in terms of jobs and making a living wage was, former City Councilman Zach Reed says wages need to be higher, but also it's about fixing schools.
If we put an educational system that is second to none, then these individuals in our wards and in our communities, business leaders, they will know then that a person that graduated from Cleveland Public Schools now is ready to go to work.
Attorney Ross DeBello says what he calls crony capitalism has to stop.
We have to fund small and new businesses in the outer neighborhoods with our tax dollars, not increasing the wealth of a select few so we can get re-election after re-election.
Councilman Bashir Jones says he knows how to bring in new jobs.
In making sure that people are with a living wage, but you also have to make sure you are attracting business. And what we have to do is make sure that we have a city hall that is prepared to bring in new businesses.
Nonprofit executive Justin Bibb says first, City Hall needs to be business friendly.
Secondly, we have to better invest in youth employment programs to get our children back to work and invest in programs to address the adult literacy issue to ensure that our adult workforce has the skills they need to compete.
When asked how to make sure Clevelanders are skilled to work, State Senator Sandra Williams says it's not just about more robust job training programs.
The root of the problem is that we're graduating people who are not job ready. And so the program that I have been talking about will make sure people are trained and ready for school as soon as they graduate.
Former Congressman and Cleveland Mayor Dennis Kucinich said there needs to be more city-provided training.
We need to reinstitute job-specific adult education classes through the Cleveland Metropolitan School District and use those schools after school so that after people come back from their work, they can have an opportunity to better their skills.
City Council President Kevin Kelly says the answer is twofold.
We need to make sure that we are working with industry, with laborers, with the schools to train our citizens for the jobs that are available. And let's start with another notion. We cannot fail kids K to 12 and then think that there's a program that's going to fix it.
And remember, early voting continues this week at the Board of Elections, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Well, in a low turnout election, as this will be, endorsements will be big. This week, former Mayor Mike White, who left office in the political spotlight 20 years ago, came out and endorsed Justin Bibb. This, of course, follows Mayor Jackson's endorsement the week before of Kevin Kelly. No word yet from former Mayor Jane Campbell, and of course the only other former living mayor, Dennis Kucinich, would be endorsing himself. Speaking of Cleveland mayors, it was the late Mayor Carl Stokes who was mayor of Cleveland back in the summer of '69. It was in that summer that the Cuyahoga River last caught fire, prompting Time magazine to run a story on the river burning using a photo from 17 years earlier that would famously become synonymous with the city for decades to come. The good thing that came out of that was it led to Carl's brother, the newly elected Congressman Lou Stokes, to pass the Clean Water Act in Congress, which led to the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency. I bring it up because the action set in motion that summer led to a milestone marked this week out in Ashtabula, where the EPA formally marked the completion of the decades-long cleanup of one of the most polluted rivers on the Great Lakes. As a kid growing up in Ashtabula in the 80s, Jim Timonier and friends had a written and unwritten rule. You didn't swim in the Ashtabula River.
No, it actually wasn't an option. You know, parents kind of ruled the roost back then. So no, Mom and Dad would say no, and we didn't even attempt it.
It was, as the EPA classified it, an area of concern, one of the most polluted waterways on the Great Lakes. Fast forward 33 years, and $67.5 million worth of cleanup work later, you have Governor Mike DeWine and the EPA's deputy administrator here to say that now that has officially changed.
We are taking Ashtabula River off of that list.
14,000 pounds of cancer-causing PCBs were removed, as was enough hazardous settlement to fill 350 football fields a foot thick. An environmental victory and a financial one as well.
For every dollar you invest in cleaning up the Great Lakes, it generates $3 or more in new economic activities.
That's something Jim Timonier is already seeing. 33 years later, he is now Ashtabula's city manager. He enjoys seeing the people from different parts of Ohio bringing their boats and their money to Ashtabula.
They enjoy our river, they enjoy the ease of getting out to the lake and having fun out there, and then coming right down to Bridge Street or Main Avenue and enjoying time here. It makes a world of difference for us here in Ashtabula.
Well, at that event, I had a chance to talk with Governor Mike DeWine about the alarming spike in COVID cases this week across the state, and he reiterated his plea for school districts to require students to wear masks, saying it's something that worked to keep schools open last year, and he believes it will work again.
We're facing, frankly, a tougher foe because this Delta variant spreads much faster.
Have you thought about what you would need to see for you to step in?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
DeWine tells me he believes there are still persuadables out there, people who haven't been vaccinated but are still open to it, many of them going after seeing friends or family get sick. What he wants most is actually help from Washington to change the vaccine wording, reclassify it from emergency use to regular use.
Because there are a lot of people, frankly, that tell me, I'll get it, but I'm not getting it as long as it's emergency use. When they change it, the FDA changes that, then I'll get it. And so we just urge our federal officials to move this along if they can.
The governor, though, stressing that the decisions on masks are ones that he believes are best left at the local level. With Democracy 2021, I'm John Kosick. Enjoy your Sunday.
Sponsored by Akron Children's Hospital.